Hey, good morning, everybody. Those that keep joining me every morning, appreciate it. Please find me again on Monday morning. If you like what I'm doing and you think it helps you in the market, please give it a thumbs up. With that said, I've been on fire calling SPY movement, SPY direction. We'll get into what I spoke about yesterday. Yesterday's topic was lottery plays. I mentioned a few lottery plays and what I was looking for. The first lottery play I mentioned was Delta Airlines at $38. I said it's likely that Delta will open lower on the day. If you can grab the lowest point on Delta, you can get into some Delta calls. Remember, I was bullish airlines. So Delta opened at $38, went down to $37.03 as the low. I have a picture, but I don't need to show it to you. The point is the $38 calls went for as low as 13 cents each. I got in at $23 each. What happened to Delta? It closed back where it started around $38.30. This morning, pre-market, it's up. So those $38 calls will likely be worth somewhere in the range of 60 to 70 cents. If you're in at 15 cents, you're out at 70 cents. That's like a 400% return. So I explained lottery plays yesterday. I mentioned that I was looking on AMD, both sides, but nothing really appealed to me as far as AMD goes. I personally entered into some upstart lottery calls. Upstart $16 calls. They expire today. I paid $17 for them. I believe they closed around $24. So not crushing it, up about 30% on those. But again, Upstart is up 2% pre-market. So I should get a little pop at open today. And then yesterday, right before close, 3 minutes to close, I mentioned Disney calls in at $89 each. What happened? Disney was slightly under $99. They closed slightly above $99. Why did I play Disney calls going into yesterday's close? Because you had Netflix earnings coming out. Now, Netflix earnings per share sucked. However, they gained 7.6 million paid subscribers. The estimate was 4.5 million. So they crushed the estimate of paid subscribers, and that's what the street was looking for. So not only do you have Netflix going up, but you have Roku, Paramount, which does streaming. You have Disney, which does streaming. Disney, which are the options I entered in 3 minutes before close and that I alerted to. So the fact that Disney was popping yesterday like 2% after hours, it definitely came back a little, but I'm definitely looking for a pop today on Disney. We're up 0.81% pre-market. It's slightly under $100 a share. Somebody's put up a wall on the sell side at $100.20. Okay, so let's get past those lottery plays. Let's talk about what's important, which is market direction. So what am I expecting from market direction? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share Discord because I'm going to share what we saw yesterday as far as market direction, okay? So market direction, this is at 11 in the morning. We already took a decline from the 390 level. We were at 388. Now, I mentioned at 388, it's an important level because there's a crazy amount of dark pool level there. So 388.20 should act as support, which it kind of did. And then as we're going up, we're at 388 again. At 388, I said it's likely we're going to see 390 or slightly there over. And what did we see? Again, we got a spike 388, almost 389. Then we hit 390 and 20 cents. Pay attention to 390 because it either is going to turn into support or rejection. So the same thing is true today. As we're sitting pre-market 389.58 on the SPY, you're looking for 390 to see if it holds. Now understand, right before close, large spikes of puts on the SPY were purchased. Does that mean the market's going down today? No, because before close, there were also large call options on the SPY purchased. So it's actually a mix. Going into yesterday, if you joined me yesterday morning, I think we were about 66 or 67% into puts as a flow of the market. What happened yesterday? Market struggled yesterday morning. What happened when it went down? People sold those puts and they got into calls. Right now, the call distribution versus the put distribution is more of an equal weight distribution. So what does that tell me? Well, let's get right into it and talk about the SPY and the market, because between 390, which is a key level on the SPY that I mentioned a minute ago, and 394, there is no real dark pool level actually going all the way up to 396. So it's very minimal. What does that tell me? Okay, I'll give you the bull case scenario. Bull case scenario is, all right, we start out at 389, we drop down to 388. We see the same support we saw yesterday at 388 and a quarter. We shoot back up to 390, between 390 and 391, which would turn us green on the day, which would turn all indices green on the day. That's what I'm preparing for. Now, if we see the 391 level and volume's not crazy heavy, there's a good chance we shoot up to 394 or even 396, which is the next dark pool rejection level. So that's what I'm anticipating. Again, there's your bull case scenario. I will give you a bear case scenario, although today I am not a bear. Okay, bear case scenario is we're sitting at 380. What do we pre-market again? 389.27 right now. So 389.27, bear case scenario. We drop down a little bit. We spike up. We hit yesterday's high. Yesterday's high just under 391 or 391 level. And then what happens? We drop, and we drop back to 387, 386 and change. That's your bear case scenario. Top side, 391. Bottom side, 386 and change. Okay, that's your bear case. Bull case scenarios, we drop real quick. We find support at 388. We shoot up to 391. 391 doesn't hold the SPY, and we continue higher to 394, almost a 2% gain. So that's kind of what I'm expecting today. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw choppiness. So if I had to put some values on it, I'd say choppiness, 40%. I'd say bull case scenario, 40%. I'd say bear case scenario, 20%. So the fact that I'm more bullish, I'm going to say, okay, if the market does decline, I'm going to look for support at the 388 level. If we find the support, I can get into some calls. Again, you don't need massive movement. If you're playing 0 days till expiration options and the SPY moves $2 or 2 points higher, that's a massive return. So if you're playing 0 days till expiration options, you can get a decent return. If you're going out a week and the SPY is moving 2 points in one direction or the other, then yes, it's extremely important if you're calling the bottom or support, or you're calling the top or rejection. If you're in no man's land, then you're just, a free-for-all. You're basically betting on it. I'd rather tell you stay on the sidelines. I'd rather tell you stay on the sidelines until you have a perfectly executable strategy. What does that mean? Perfectly executed strategy means, okay, well, the stock, and I'll use Delta as an example from yesterday. Delta Airlines, let me just get this off remove here. Let me stop sharing my screen. Let me see if I can share an actual example with you. Let's see how quick I can do it. Boom. Hopefully that works. And share. Okay, so here we go. Now let me just go over here so I can show you what we're working with. Again, Delta, spoke about it pre-market, right? 38.37. So that's basically where it opened at. 38.37, 38.40 at the high. Now, what happens? We were looking for the sell-off, and we're looking to get in the bottom. Again, the bottom was $37. Those are where you buy your $14, $13, $15 calls, maybe all the way up to 23 cents, because I had to see the reversal. So I got in right here. Hopefully you guys can see my cursor go. Then what happened? Well, we closed where we started. We closed right at the start. So we're exactly even. What's happening with Delta pre-market? Let's just take a look again. Up there it is. DAL up 0.44% at $38.52. So what does that make those options? Well, they're at least worth $52 because that's where the stock is. So that's kind of how you execute a strategy. A strategy doesn't tell you, I want to buy Google options. I want to buy Google calls. Google's up 3% pre-market. Shit, you don't want to chase. You're looking for the entry point. So you're seeing where Google could potentially come down to. Let's talk about Netflix again and Netflix earnings. Well, the whole talk before Netflix earnings came out, in fact, when Netflix was $304, $311, rejecting $311, people were saying Netflix could have a clear run to $340. Well, let's look at where Netflix is this morning. Netflix up 6%, $335. If we see where it rejected both yesterday after earnings and this morning, it rejected $340 on the high side right there, and on the other side right there, $340. So people were saying Netflix high $340. Does that mean Netflix can't break through $340? It means it can, but there's a nice dark pool level around that range. So there should be some consolidation, meaning you see Netflix go up to $340, consolidates between $340 and $335. And then when it finally consolidates, meaning People are taking profit. People are taking profit. Some people are buying in new shares, but when it finally consolidates, it's likely to push higher. So please, if you guys have any questions, please ask them on the side. We can look at flows and charts. Okay, so let me bring up Discord again. Let me remove this. Stop sharing my screen. Let me share the screen. Let's bring up Discord and we'll look at those two stocks for you. So anybody can do this, by the way. Let's just get to the right button here. Okay, options, algos. Here we go. We got the dark pool levels of the SPY. So before I talk about your two stocks, I'm going to just speak about the dark pool levels of the SPY really quickly because I mentioned right here, 388 is this level right here, 15 billion. Then we have 391, 10 billion. And you don't really see, it's a very light dark pool at 394 all the way up to 396. So when I told you bold case scenario, 396 is a possibility, yes. And when I told you that we could run up to 391 like we did yesterday, here's your dark pool level there. Okay, so let's just make sure. Okay, thank goodness it was on the screen. All right, so you're asking about AMD flow and Snap if there's time. Well, of course there's time. You're watching the live stream. You actually asked the questions like I suggested doing. So let's take a look at both. Okay, so let's look at TR. Let's look at the net flow for, I put an equal sign in. Net flow. What were you asking about? Snapchat. Let's see what Snapchat's at first before we do AMD. All right, Snapchat. Here we go. Price is up here. The cost for put premium, it's staying pretty consistent over here. Now, what you're noticing is the price for the calls has significantly dropped. So let's just look at Snapchat. Let me just do it on my phone real quick and see what Snapchat chart looks like. And the volume. You definitely want to look at the volume of Snapchat. 975 yesterday. Yeah, I mean, Snapchat is right now staying in a 5-day range. Let me just show you guys what I'm looking at, why I would stay away from Snapchat. I got to do it on my phone because it's too much to. Okay, so what do you see? You see a head and shoulders pattern. Well, where are we? We're towards the top of the head and shoulders. It's not like Snapchat is a leader in the tech. You're not talking about Snapchat in the same terms as Google, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Tesla, or anything like that. Snapchat, I'm pretty sure, does not make money. Well, they actually have a forward PE of $59, which is still extremely high. You would expect, even for a more speculative play, maybe the forward PE to be in the $40 or $45 range. So, yeah, I would be cautious. I mean, Snap's a buy at $9.30. Snap's not really a buy where it is now. So what do I do next? Well, I go back on Discord, and I'm going to look at the dark pool levels because the dark pool levels will tell us support and resistance. So let's type in TRDP levels, and we'll look at Snap. Okay, Snap. Let's see what we come up again. So Snapchat's at 962 right now. Well, you had major support in the $8.84. Very light support here. You should have support at 910, 922, 955. Then it's dark all the way up to 961. So the fact that we closed at 962, well, man, it tells me that there's huge either support or resistance at $9.61. So that's what you want to pay attention to. You want to watch Snap from the open. You want to make sure that $9.61, exactly where it is a support level. Because if it's resistance and Snap goes up and you chase and you buy some calls and then Snap drops significantly and it rejects the 961 over and over, well, then your position is screwed. If 961 turns into support, then yeah, if the markets move higher today and, you know, stocks like Affirm, Roblox, Lucid, Neo, all push higher, then yes, Snapchats can push higher 3, 4, 5% today. But again, that's your guessing game. AMD, I did look at yesterday. There's completely mixed flow there. It has not changed. So, you know, I would suggest to be cautious when there's mixed flow there. And I got into a mixed flow stock yesterday. I got into some Starbucks calls yesterday. And lo and behold, the infamous Love on our platform reached out. Let's hold off on the next question for a second because I want to tell a quick story. Love reached out to me on the side and she texted me and she said, make sure you secure profit on your Starbucks calls because it's likely to fall. The algorithms are mixed. So I'm like, okay, she's seeing something I'm not seeing. So this is how having great partners and great support love. Romeo, who did a live stream yesterday and will do one next week on public YouTube and does 2 to 3 privates on Discord. Not only that, but he teaches private lessons if anybody wants to sign up. So does Love. But she basically told me institutions are selling calls that are outdated. So be cautious. The movement in Starbucks should be choppy. So make sure you seek your profit. Well, after she told me that, what did I do? I shared it with Discord. I was like, hey, everybody, I jumped into some Starbucks calls. I'm going to sell half of my position for profit because Love sent me a warning that the Starbucks algorithms are mixed. How did she know? She used our Discord. Okay, so that's the same thing. Resistance and support for Halliburton. Yeah, let's check it out. I mean, Halliburton, we can see that. Let's look at the dark pool levels. Again, Halliburton being an energy and oil stock. Right now, oil stocks, although I don't agree, they are pushing higher. I think the XLE is right about 90. No, that's not Halliburton. That can't be Halliburton. All right, Halliburton. Oh, I guess it is. I didn't know. Okay, so Halliburton's $40 stocks. You got 3 straight days of outflow. Let's look up the dark pool level for Halliburton, dark pool levels for HAL. So make sure that you guys are seeing this with me. You are not. So now you are. I was about to do that. Thank you, Carlos. So Halliburton, dark pool levels. The stock closed at $40.19. Pre-market, we're up a little to about $40.40. You want to look. Well, where's their dark pool level? Right here, this massive one, $40.39. Where are we sitting right now? $40.31. So understand, if there's going to be rejection, these two levels right here, which are coming up, $40.39, were there pre-market, and $40.99. So where would I look? I would think it's going to reject $41. If it does not, then you're going to see a push to $42.20. Again, it's going to follow what the market is doing today. So if the market and the SPY rejects the level of, where are we right now, pre-market, 389. So if the SPY rejects 390, 391, then Halliburton's only going up another 20 cents before it rejects. And as the market rejects and everything goes down, so will Halliburton, so will the XLE, so will oil. Now, if you look at XLE, I should have it pretty close to the top right here because I look at it a lot of the time. Oh, maybe I moved it down. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's just under $90. It's got a decent chart. Volume's doing okay. It bottomed at $85. It topped a little over $90. It had 2 out of 3 days outflow. So yeah, I mean, I still don't like energy. And the whole reason I don't like energy is I still don't trust China. If we look at Chinese stocks, pre-market, they're ripping. And I mentioned that they could go on a little rip. I mentioned that yesterday. Alibaba, Baidu, PDD. I told you, instead of playing Tesla, you could easily play NIO going into yesterday. NIO, let's see where NIO is this morning. Again, NIO was $11.18. It dropped all the way to $10.60 yesterday. It's back right at $11 this morning, a few cents under. So yeah, I mean, a cheaper play than rather than playing Tesla could be NIO. A cheaper play instead of playing Baidu or Alibaba would be NIO. So what's interesting about NIO? Well, look at the chart. You've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 inflow days, 2 outflow days. We know the market has been struggling the past 2 days. The Dow was down 400 points 2 days ago on Wednesday. It went down yesterday. Tech was a little stronger. So here's my assumption about today is that Google's firing people, so Google's up 3% pre-market. Netflix came out with added subscribers, so Netflix is up pre-market. Netflix is going to take the streaming stocks up pre-market. Cryptos have kind of held. So whereas Coin, Mara, Riot got beat up for 2 days, it looks like there's more of an inflow, and maybe that's a weekend play going into the weekend. People are saying, I'm going to hold those stocks. So then I'm looking at different industries. Then I'm saying, okay, well, oil kind of looks decently okay this morning. I look at the U.S. dollar, and I say, did the U.S. dollar make any massive movements? So let me just find the U.S. dollar. As I move up some stuff, I move the dollar down. So let me just find that. SPY, right. Oh, U.S. dollar, 102.42. We'll look at the 5-day chart. Okay, it is spiking this morning, which will put a little downward pressure. But if you look at the U.S. dollar, at the same point that I was telling you, this crater right here will likely fill and go back up, which would put downward pressure. That should happen. So do I see the U.S. dollar exploding today? No, I'm looking at the 1 month. It's probably going to stay right in the same range that we're at, 102.50 all the way down to 102. As long as it stays consistently in the range and there's no spike in the US dollar, spike in the 2-year rate, or spike in the 10-year rate, then it's likely it won't have any downward pressure effect on the market. So let's just see what else we got going on. Can I cover Netflix? We're a little late to cover Netflix, and I will mention why on that one. Well, Netflix implied move was plus or minus 9% going into earnings. All right. So with Netflix already popping, let the IVs decay. So if you're looking to take a lotto play on Netflix, then you really have to analyze Netflix and say to, what is my potential bottom? Well, it's up 6.5%. Where could it sell off to? Could it sell off to $333? Yes. But if it sells to 333, could it go down to 328 from there? Sure. At 338, it could pop back to 338 end of day. So again, if you wanted to take a lotto play on Netflix, I'm looking for entry around 333.15, 333.20. At that level, I might get into some 0 days till expiration calls. As long as I see a plateau or a bottoming, you don't want to catch a falling knife. So, I see a question about Meta. Meta keeps rejecting the 137 area. Is there a big dark pool? Well, if you were on Discord, you would know if there's a big dark pool. But let's check it out for you and see if there is a big dark pool at 137. So let's check out TR, DP levels, and Meta. Here we go. And these dark pool levels don't signify like 100%. It's a crystal ball and they have to change. But Meta is being bought up. So yeah, is there a huge dark pool level at what would you say, 137 area? Yeah, there's a huge dark pool level at 136.48. There are dark pool levels right here, 134, 132, 129, 127. What happened? We broke through all those. So the largest dark pool level is 136.48. Now, when I talk about dark pool levels, I say it's plus or minus 30, 40 cents, 20 cents. So yeah, as you mentioned, 137, that could be a major dark pool level. However, if we see the SPY go up in my bull case scenario and it breaks the 390 level and we head towards 394, so if you're telling me the SPY is going to head up 1.23% today, like 1.25, 1.27, then Meta is probably going to head up 2% today, something to that extent. And if we look at Meta pre-market and we say, okay, possible 2% gain, it's at 136 flat right now. It's taking some downward pressure. So where could it pop to? 2% would be what? Another 139. So it would have to break that level. So yeah, people are expecting Meta to reject. I guess people are expecting the SPY to reject that 389, 390 level as it did twice yesterday. Remember, so let's just go to the 3-minute chart. Let me just see where we're at here. Pre-market. Again, I don't believe that much pre-market hype. Again, heading into yesterday, puts were outnumbering calls about 66% to about 34%. Well, that flopped midday towards the end of the day in the afternoon where there was a ton of call buying. I don't know if you guys follow Trady Ticks on Twitter, but since we use Trady Ticks information, I follow him on Twitter. He's reporting DEX level, GEX levels, dark pool levels, bullish levels, bearish levels, things like that. Can we look at Walmart? Okay, so I don't really look at Walmart. It's more of a Dow play. And we know the Dow's been beaten up 2 straight days. Remember, minus 400 points. Where did the Dow finish yesterday? Minus how much points? Because it was down a couple hundred. Minus 252. So, when you look at the Dow, that's what it looks like. So Walmart should look somewhat similar to that. That's a 1-week chart. If we go out 1 month on the Dow, then you say, okay, well, we could be bottoming right in this level again. So this could act as support. But you don't want to decide that ahead of time, like, hey, we're 100% going to see support. So let me see where Walmart, I have it at this very bottom. I have Target and Walmart because they're important to have, but I just don't follow them. So I'm looking at the Walmart chart. I'm looking at the 1-month chart. Your 1-month chart says outflow 5 straight days, 7 out of 8 days. So the fact that Dow took a dump the last 2 days, right, down 400 points, then yesterday morning it was down 100, then 200, then 300, then 3 and change, then back to 200, 100, and it finished at minus 250. It tells me, shit, I don't want to get in Walmart yet because you're catching a falling knife. Now, as soon as you start to see a reversal on Walmart, it could be on your watch list and you want to look at the 5-day chart and you want to see a reversal. Now, right now, what do you see? You see a slide with heavy, heavy volume right at the end of the day here. Heavy, heavy volume, block trades. So, yeah, I mean, I would be cautious on that. Now, the forward PE is 22.87. Understand, on average, the forward PE of large companies like this should be in the 17 to 18 range for a forward PE. So it tells me Walmart is still maybe a little overvalued. Again, if the Dow bounces higher, Walmart's going to bounce higher. So don't say like Matt said that shit was going down. No, it's going to follow the market. If the SPY ends up seeing 394, then Walmart will be higher. Meta will break that 137 area. So the fact that there are significant bearish signs, let's just look at Walmart, 5 straight days outflow. You mentioned Meta rejects 137. It's actually 136.49 is the dark pool level. So we're not the only people that see that. The fact that Netflix popped to what was it, $340 pre-market, and it's pulled back a little. We're not the only people to see that. So if you're saying, okay, Meta is going to reject, Netflix is going to reject, Walmart's going to reject, Apple's going to reject, then you have to say, okay, well, the market is likely to reject the 390 level. When you see some of these stocks breaking through to the higher side, breaking through support and resistance, going up higher, then you say to yourself, okay, the SPY is likely to break through as well. Or vice versa. If you see the SPY break through, it's likely the components of the SPY, being Meta, Walmart, Disney, Apple, Amazon, they're going to follow and break through whatever support or rejection levels they're facing as well. With that said, it is time. I'm heading over to Discord. If you want to join me on Discord, there should be a link below. With that said, have a great day, everybody. Trade safe. It is Friday. Make sure you have a complete strategy. Remember, we don't just hop in. Oh, I'm going to play a lotto option. I'll hop in and open. No, decide. Hey, if I'm buying lotto puts, I want to see the stock or ETF go up here, and then I'll buy my freaking puts. Talk about puts yesterday. You could have been UVXY, right? Say the market's going to strengthen a little. UVXY, when it was over like $6.03 each, I was looking at puts. They were 11 cents each. You know, we're going to open up this morning about $30 a contract. So you're talking about $11 a contract to $30 a contract. When does the UVXY go down? Every day, unless there's a complete collapse in the market. So there was an easy lottery play. I didn't look at that yesterday because I was more focused on Delta and seeing if I can possibly get into AMD, calling the right direction there. Again, AMD was flip-flopping. I got into some Delta calls. I got into some Starbucks calls. I got out of Starbucks calls real quick. I got into some Upstart calls that are my complete lottery play. I only put in like $200, but those $200, if I was correct, and Upstart did pop today, let's say 6, 7, 8%, I'd be looking at like 1,000% return. So again, I'm holding that $200 position probably till later in the day, looking to see if the SPY is strong. With that said, heading to Discord, have my pre-market video shortly. Please join me there. Use the flow